Hello, hello, did you know that love is at the heart of it? Hello, hello.
Hello, this is Christine with Beyond the Sound. I have Aaron with me tonight, and we have a very new genre, which I'm excited because we said we wanted to cover one, and we have Janine, which is actually a really good friend of mine. She's been around the world. She lives with her guitar, so if there's music, she lives and breathes it. So I'm really happy to have her on. Hi, Janine.
Hi, how are you tonight there, girlfriend? I mean,
Good.
goddess.
How are you?
If I was any better, I'd be farting through silk. No, that's a Ronnie Hawkins line. I won't take credit for that.
Well, that's awesome.
And Aaron, how are you today?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Good. Good. Yeah. No, we're in a heat wave in Nova Scotia, so I've been living by my air conditioner, going through a drought. So
I know the
I've been
feeling all
just
too
hanging
well.
out today, editing photos and stuff, and staying the fuck
There,
out.
you got some more light, Aaron. I wanted to see your handsome face.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you want to break in the questions? You want to ask the first question, Aaron?
Yep. How'd you get into the music scene and into making music in general?
Well, I've always been musical, even as a child. Mom had me, doing concerts and stuff like that. And there was a lot of music and dancing around my house when I was a kid. But when I really started getting into the music scene, I met my husband, Buzz Thompson, and he actually was the guitar player, the lead guitar player for Ronnie Hawkins and the Hawks
Wow.
for 13 years. So it's a really wild story how I met him because it was my birthday. I think it was my 33rd birthday or something like that. And at that time, my birthdays really sucked the big one because I was still working at moving through the suicide of my first husband. And so I was taking myself down to the bar to dance and to make pyramids out of my rum and coke glasses. And he was playing this turquoise Godin guitar, and he had like this velvet suit on and this bucket of purple roses, and he was singing this song that was written by a cop for a street kid called Wildflower. And the first lines to the song was, "She's faced the hardest times you could imagine, and many times her eyes fought back the tears." And I don't care if anybody's going up on the dance floor with me or not. I've been known to take cardboard cutouts of Jimmy Dean and Sam Hewen up on the dance floor when I don't have a partner. I don't care. I just, like, if I want to dance, I dance. So I got up there. He comes down, he gives me a rose, and then, we had a couple of tequila chasers, and that's when the fight started. But we ended up getting married in our backyard, and Ronnie, it was longer than Gone with the Wind because Ronnie was there. He actually signed on the dotted line for us to be legal, and it was just this amazing wedding. So through him, I got to meet people like members of the band like Levon Helm and Garth Hudson, and I actually got to jam with Garth and Levon on Ronnie's Baby Grand one time up at what he called Mortgage Manor North. And anyway, yeah, so I met them and met Chris Christopherson and all that kind of stuff. So, and then Buzz was an R&B singer that sounded like James Brown, seriously, like, oh my God. And my gift is when I get triggered by something, which is usually about 5 or 7 or 25 times a day, I write. Like, I was listening to your interview, Aaron, and
Thank you.
you said, like, how do your lyrics come? Well, you write the song so that you don't punch somebody in the face or have to go get your gallbladder out or whatever. So I hear the songs, like I actually have the gift of hearing the songs, and then I actually hear the melody too. And I don't profess to be the best guitar player, but I've got rhythm. And when I want myself to sound really good, I hire the Weber brothers, and you'll hear them later in the songs. But that's really kind of how I got into it. And we had our band, we called ourselves the Honeybees. I was a honeybee.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
So this one actually kind of leads into it a little bit, though. Janine, when you were growing up, what was the band you absolutely had to listen to when you were a kid? Like when you were first discovering music?
Well, I'd say the Beatles. Yeah, I'd say the Beatles. even Herman's Hermits. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but Herman's Hermits and a lot of the old like blues gospel songs and stuff like that by Sam Cooke and you know
Wow.
like all of that like old blues that said something. But one thing I find about the blues, and I write all sorts of genres. Well, it writes me, but one of the things I don't like about the blues is they take you right down into the snake pit and they don't give you a ladder back up. Like,
That's
how do
right.
you get out of there? So that's what I'm all about in the songs that come through me is like, giving you a little bit of a rope so you could at least hang on to it.
A lifeline. That's awesome.
Yeah, your choice.
That's right.
Except if you're water skiing and you start going under, you let go of the rope. Ask me how I know that. Well, don't. But
She's awesome. Can you tell us what song resonates with you the most?
you mean my whole life?
Yes. Yep. I almost called you ma'am.
Holy, that deep. Yeah, good. You're a quick learner. I
Huh?
tell you, I like you
I was raised
already.
raised by all women.
Oh, and look at somebody that doesn't have any penis just went up the street. I'm in the backyard. But yeah, he just had to gun it. But what song resonates for me the most? Well, there's two actually. And one is by Leonard Cohen and what's her name? Leonard Cohen and Jennifer Warnes. And it's from their album called Famous Blue Raincoat. And the song is called
Okay.
Famous Blue Raincoat. But I used to listen to that like that actually, that and a song by Van Morrison in 1987 because that's when my husband took his life. And I sat under a plant pot with a 40 and a 26 in a bag, and you know what, for 2 years. Yeah, he had an album out called Poetic Champions Compose, and he actually played the sax on it. That that whole album, but he has two songs on it called Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child and another
Okay.
one called Queen of the Slipstream. And I'm Pisces and I don't fit in any corners. I'm like, nailing me down is like nailing down a beach.
My wife's a Pisces too, so I understand completely.
So you know.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, so
So
those
the
are
next
those are
question.
two because they help me.
So the next question is, tell us a little bit about your adventures, like the best adventures you've had on your trips, because I know you've been in a lot of different places that most people haven't. So where's the best place you've been in the best adventure?
Well, I'd have to say this past winter, going to Holland and Ireland. I hadn't traveled for 11, 12 years. I did do a tour in Pennsylvania, a couple of years ago in October, but I hadn't traveled. So I just decided that I was going to jump ship. So I flew out December 2nd and I flew into Holland and I stayed in Holland and it was pretty quiet until New Year's. The Dutchies are crazy. Like they're
Yeah.
just absolutely, oh my God. I felt like I was right in the middle of World War II. PTSD for a week. The fireworks are banned, but yet they save the money all year with their little purse strings. And then they spend $157 million on fireworks for 3 days.
Wow.
Okay, well, I had a little bit of a challenge stepping beyond that and looking at it collectively and not my human side that was being really judgy because it's like there's a whole bunch of homeless people over there that
Yeah.
need money and food, and you're burning your money and like for 3 days before. So that was, kind of interesting. But the trip from Amsterdam to Ireland just took the cake. Okay, so here I am. I've got 2 big suitcases because I'm going to Ireland and I don't know whether I'm going to need, like, what I'm going to need for stage clothes, what's going to happen, kicking around clothes. And of course, I'm a diva. So, I had these 2 big suitcases. I had my guitar, Blondie, on my back. I had a bag with healing crystals that I just couldn't leave without, that I had to take some. So like the guy at the customs, right, is going, "What's with the rocks?" And I said, "Oh well, they're healing crystals." "Oh, I'm just so excited. I'm going to Ireland. I've never been." And I'm just like, la 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 la. And he pokes a stick around in there. He could have made me take them all out, but he didn't. And so, because I just went and I thought, I am not going to have any problem with, these people, right? So thank God I didn't have my jean jacket on with the crystals on the back. But anyway, I got that and I got that. And I just walked 26 blocks to get to my gate. Now that's like a city block. Do you think any one of those little things on the thing that help you, like, that you step on, do you think any of them were working on my side? No, they weren't working on my side. Of course they weren't. So then I finally get up and I get this guy, and he's about 5'2". Okay. He's got a little bit of short man syndrome, pardon my French, but he does. I know he does. And he looks at me and he goes, "Take your hat off, take your boots off, take your sweater off. And don't you know you can't put your guitar in the X-ray? It's too big. You have to walk it." Well, I didn't bother arguing with him that, in Toronto they have them that big, but okay, like whatever. And I just kept smiling at him and saying, "Oh, my bad. I'm not a seasoned traveler. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry." And in my mind, I'm thinking, you probably haven't been laid in like 20 years, man. I feel really sorry for you. Right? Anyway,
It's probably
so then, okay, I finally get through that. And now I'm stripped down to a little Nicky Bicky and my little tie-dyed socks and my jeans, right? And they put me through the thing. Well, I forgot. I got protection on. I got a smoky quartz necklace on. Well, it sets the dinger off. So now they set the dinger off, and now I got to go through 3 times. Now everybody's looking at me. Right now, they send a woman over there, and she's gonna search me. Okay. All right. So now Buddy's over there and he's just like this looking, they're gonna find something, drugs or something, like, like whatever, right? Like they're gonna, she's a hippie, I know. Okay, fine. So the girl who's doing it, she sees me. And what I mean by that is she sees my energy. Okay. And she says to me, "May I touch your hair?" And I said, "Well, thanks for asking, but I suppose you have to, right?" So like we're doing like, oh, they're doing all this, and like they do like the whole thing, right? Like, and she's down on my neck, and my friggin' back was so sore from humping that guitar for all the. And anyway, so I know I can feel she's got healing hands, right? Soon as her hands hit my shoulders, they get hot. So I said, "I bet you just love doing this." I said, when I was young and 22, I applied at an all-male maximum security prison and got the job as the first female officer. And she goes, "Oh, we don't do men. Like they asked us to do men." So now we're having a chit chat. Buddy over there, like we're bonding, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, oh, that's fine. I said, "Would you mind terribly just leaving your hands on my shoulders for a little longer than normal? Because, like, they're really sore. And, quite frankly, I haven't been touched like this in forever." And so she just goes down, right? She just goes down. And so I finally get out of there. I get out of there. I finally get on the plane. I'm sitting there on the plane. I'm like, "Oh, fuck. What was that?" Right? And I just pass right out, like for like almost 2 hours, right? And I wake up, we touch down in Ireland. Okay, the girl that's supposed to meet me, I call her the Griffin because her shout out to Ireland. She's one of my admins on the peace train. Her last name is Griffin. And interestingly enough, my family coat of arms is the Griffin. So she's supposed to be waiting for me, but I haven't met her personally. I've known her on Facebook for 7 years, so I'm hoping she's going to be there. So I touch down, all of a sudden I have a meltdown on the plane. I'm like sobbing my eyes out. I can't leave. And I'm thinking, what is this all about? Is this because I finally got to Ireland after 7 years? Or what is it all about? So I get off the plane and she's waiting for me and she says, "How are you feeling?" I said, "I feel like I got hit by a bus or a train or something." And she says, "Well, I know why your plane was late." I said, "Why?" And she says, "Because they just rolled a body off the plane."
Shit.
And I'm a psychic medium. So I said, "Oh, great. The guy was probably talking to me the whole time." And anyway, so that was my trip. And so we got in the car. She had a smoke ready for me. She's a good roadie. And she says, well, we're on the way to Elaine's, Dolores's niece. I was going to stay there. She says, we're on the way to the graveyard. We might as well get that over with. I said, well, you want me to go to Dolores's grave like today after I've been traveling for 20 hours? She said, yeah, you won't have any time to get all worked up and sappy about it. She's a Scorpio. And I said, okay. So that's what we did. So that was the wildest story ever, and how I manifested staying in Ireland for almost 2 months for 650 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, because you were like backpacking there the whole time, right?
Well,
You were
no,
just there with your.
I got to stay in a cottage that slept 10 right around the corner from the ocean, because I said to Dolores, if you want me to go to Ireland, you better figure out a place for me to stay. So she ended up connecting the Griffin, who just met this woman about 2 weeks before I came, who owned this cottage. And this woman is an amazing singer, songwriter, folk rock music, who does a cover of Zombie, and who said no to playing with Bob Dylan when she was 19. He asked her to sing with him, and she said no.
Wow.
So
Other than that,
actually,
I
since
don't know
you
anything.
brought up Dolores, that's actually going to lead into Aaron's next question.
Yes, ma'am. Tell us about your relationship with Dolores and your tributes to her.
Okay, well, I met Dolores. She had a house in Canada, and I was helping out actually Ronnie Hawkins' manager with a store in a little town called Lakefield called Celtic Connection. And Dolores walked in there one day with a big floppy hat and sunglasses and leggings and t-shirt and everything. And she bought a few things, but she didn't say much, and I didn't know who she was. In fact, I dressed her for a year and a half. We became friends. She disappeared for about 3 months, and then she came back and she said, come around the counter now and give us a hug. I've missed you. And she fell into my arms and just started crying. And I said, where have you been? And she said, my father died and I've been in Ireland. So we got closer after that. And then one day, we were sitting there having lunch, and like, I'm not in the business of asking people what you do. If somebody asks me what I do, I tell them not to bring their watch, because I do more than one thing, right? So and it's kind of like an ignorant, in my opinion anyway, like, what do you do? I'm going to judge you based on what you do.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a year and a half before I finally said to her, do you mind me asking what it is that you do, that you don't seem to have a budget and you travel all around the world? And she's like, well, have you ever heard of the Cranberries? And I'm nodding my head like a bobble doll, but I don't even freaking know who they are. I don't know who they are. Because when she
Like,
made it big in 1992, 93, I was sitting under the plant pot with Bob Dylan and Pink Floyd and Marianne Faithfull and like all those people, right? I wasn't listening to the Cranberries.
no, yeah, they came out
So
when I was like in my age era.
yeah. So I'm in my 60s now. But anyway, so I went home and my partner freaked out because he was a trivia guy, right? And he's like, you don't know who, in this condescending tone, which is why he's my ex. Anyway, so yeah. And so the first video he showed me was her singing with Pavarotti for the Pope at the Vatican. And
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God. So then she tested the shite out of me. After she told me, she tested me for, I bet you, a good year and a half. She'd phone me up and she'd say, let's go for lunch. And then she wouldn't show up. Or she'd say, the girls and I are meeting in Toronto. Can you meet us tomorrow? Like, I got a job, right? Like, I'm working. And so finally I just said, you know what? If you want a plastic friend, go to New York or Hollywood. I'm not in. But if you want a real friend, then you better show up when you say you're going to show up. And right now, I'm still on my broom. I don't have a car. So if you want me to get to Toronto tomorrow, pay my day's wages and send me a friggin' limo. So anyway, she apologized. And so we became really good friends. And actually, I mentored her for quite a long time. She came out with her sexual abuse as a child. She had a nervous breakthrough. we kept friendship back and forth when she split with her husband. It was a real shit show, basically. And at the same time, I almost lost my leg to gangrene. She was really worried about that. But I talked with her, I guess it was like 6 days before she crossed over. And I remember saying to her, any psychiatrist that would tell you that you cannot buy a house in Canada because of the memories. You need a house in Canada because you have to see your kids. It's eating you up that you don't have a place in Canada. And she had to have a place. And I said, and anything that you ingest in your body that you can't spell is probably not a good idea. You need to get off those antidepressants. And she said, I think you're right. So anyway,
Yeah, I don't like
I
them.
said,
I don't like them.
No pills.
well, it's the side effects, right?
No, I have people that
So
were on them, and it changes
yeah.
them a lot.
Well, I got a little bit of a mad on for Big Pharma, so there'll be a few more protest songs before I'm done. But
You're
anyway,
awesome.
thank you. Too many of my people have left. So anyway, she had them for bipolar, but Dolores was not bipolar. I'm a numerologist, which is the study of numbers. I'm kind of like a walking computer. If you spend a day with
You and
me,
me
you probably
both.
need a nap. Okay,
She does
so
pretty accurate numerology too.
so Dolores was a master. She was a master number. She had the same number as the master Jesus. She did not even have to be here. Okay. So she was dialed to another dimension. Not everybody got her. Like you'd see her and she'd scan you. Okay. Like she'd be scanning your energy, and if she didn't like it, like, who could she trust with that much money? Really?
That's right.
And so the thing is, we had this, like, she even wanted me to be the admin on her Facebook page, but the shite hit the fan before all that happened. But the thing is she crossed over 6 days after we talked on the email. But it didn't stop there because I am a psychic medium, and that very day that she died, I actually was doing a talk on energy and stuff like that, and I led 50 people, snow-covered people who came to it that night because it was a snowstorm, into a meditation to pray for Dolores and ask her to go to the light. And when I got off stage, this is in my book, but when I got off stage, I knew we'd budged her, but I knew she hadn't gone and she was beating herself up. And she was really on the dark side of the road, but I didn't say anything to anybody. And then a medium came up to me and she said hi and introduced herself. And she says, I have a message for you from Dolores. And I said, okay, bring it. And she said, well, she's really, really upset right now because she wants you to know that she didn't kill herself. I said, I know that. I said, I already know that because we had lots of conversations about that, and we won't go into that. But anyway, but she said she's showing me on some tracks right now, some train tracks. And she said she's looking for the light. And when she finds the light, she's going to help you with the train. Now, this chick didn't know anything about the peace train, but
Wow.
Dolores did.
That's her
Dolores
logo.
knew, right? Okay, so it goes on. That night, I go home, I leave there, I fall apart again. She's still not gone. I finally pulled the big card on her and said, I can't stay here. You have to decide. And if you want me to help your fans and your family and all of that, you have to go to the light. So deal with it. And then I went downstairs. Well, I finally got to bed at 2:20 in the morning after doing a meditation. And when I was doing the meditation, I was lying on the floor 5 feet away from my tarot cards. And anyway, there was two underneath my hand. And I'm like, what are they? And I get up, I look at the clock, it says 2:20. I look at the first card, it's got a crease in it, like they want me to. And it was a star card. When she was in her cup, she used to phone me up and say, I am the Cranberries, you're making friends with an icon, So, okay, there's I'm the Star. And then there was the Fool card. Well, that's 22. That's something come full circle. So for me, I'm looking at the clock. I'm up 22 hours. I'm thinking, okay, she's told me she's got to the light. I get up in the morning. I analyze the cuckoo out of everything. I get up and I'm going, did she make it? Did she make it? I open up the email. There's an email from the same chick that gave me the email. And she said, oh, I just wanted to let you know, Dolores just woke me up at 2:20 in the morning. And she wanted to let you know that she found the light. Thank you. And she's on the train, but you need to take your hands off the wheel now because she's driving it. So here I am, guys. Every time I've made a plan for the peace train, she changes it. So I'm just going with the flow. And
So
after she died, I was so broken up. That's when I did the tribute album for her.
That's awesome.
yeah, and you can tell that you really cared for her because she definitely like talks about Dolores in a pretty big light. She's talked about her a lot. That's why I wanted to ask her about her because it's obviously a big part of her music, and especially of late. So we're going to ask you the last question, then we're going to get on to listening to some songs. So my last question, which I know you have a little bit of opinion on here, how do you feel about the current music scene, both locally and mainstream?
Oh, sorry. I think there's a lot of amazing emerging artists just in the last little while, the ones that I don't feel are mainstream. They have something to say. And that I don't like pop music, elevator music. I'm also really big on alliteration. Buzz and Ronnie always said, if you're going to hold the mic, hold it straight out so people can hear what you're saying. It's
That's right.
one thing to have a really good beat, right? But if you don't have the lyrics, you're listening to it and you're going, and they're going, and man, and huh, and huh. It sounds like they ate too much X-Lax or something, and they gotta. So
9, not
6'9".
69. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
look at that.
but
69's great.
what?
I just thought of fucking Tekashi 69 as soon as she said that because that's what his
Yeah.
lyrics sound like. You're like, "Meh."
It's terrible.
Yeah. So
Just
what I'm
flop.
about, the peace train is a collective. If you read my mission statement, it is a collective for songs for peace. I don't care what genre. If I like it and I like the lyrics, I'm going to ask these people to go on my YouTube channel and share their music on my Peace Train channel because I think it's really, really important to share your peers' music. I don't know about that ego shit, It's like, well, it's me, and, like I've got more followers than you and this, that. That's not what it's all about. It's about the message, really. That's what I think.
Yep.
Well, that's the whole reason why we started the show was so we could bring together all different genres into one
I
spot.
think it's
Like
a
we're not.
fabulous idea, and I'm going to help you guys because I
Yeah.
happen to know a
Thank
few
you.
people.
She definitely has her genre covered with some different artists. So, yeah. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into the songs that you sent me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna introduce it, and then you can kind of give us a little bit of prelude to it, and then we're gonna play it and just listen to it. Like because Aaron hasn't listened to much of your music, and I've listened to some, but I haven't listened to all these songs. So this is gonna be
I
like
checked some stuff out.
Yeah. Well, and we were checking it out last night, and I said to him, I said, you know what you sound like to me and what you remind me of is if Janis Joplin hadn't passed away when she did and had continued to live, you are like that personified, I believe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if Janis was around, you guys would be besties.
Well, Dolores told me the first time she heard my voice, she was listening, it was in her studio, and I finally screwed up enough courage to ask her if I could sing a song for her. She was singing the song Why, and she threw her $10,000 Taylor guitar across the room at my guitar player, and I started singing. And her eyes went down, and then they flipped up, and she said, your voice, it's a cross between Jimmy fucking Hendrix and Cindy fucking Lauper. I said, I'll take it. But Janice has come up too. Actually, we have a t-shirt. We have a t-shirt, a hoodie with Janice.
Yeah, we do, actually, because I did your website. I remember seeing that one because I was the one that uploaded all those designs.
It says, hold on to the mystery. We're making history.
That's awesome.
So we're going to get into the first song here. Why don't you give me a little introduction? Is Love is the Heart of It. So why don't you give us a little introduction to that, and then I'll give it a play.
Okay, well, love is at the heart of it. Now, all the drums are organic on that. Okay, actually, I made them. So there's a djembe out of a solid mango wood, and there's a native drum, and I don't know, Ryan and Sam are like shades of Queen. Like like we recorded this album like grassroots in Ryan's little frat apartment. They now have a regular studio, but we had to put the mic in the bathtub because of the noise from the street. So anyway, he comes out of the kitchen with a coffee cup and some chopsticks. And I said, "What are you doing with that? No cowbell?" So anyway, the words speak for itself.
Alrighty, I'm going to share the screen here, and we're going to get going. We'll get that
Kind
playing.
of reggae a little bit.
Okay, let's share screen. Come on.
Before you start, you're awesome. I have enough respect for you. You're just my type of people. I'm just gonna say
I
that right
knew
now.
you guys would get along. Like I said, I've been working with Janine for a couple of years, and it's always like a conversation like this. Even when we develop websites, she ends up giving me like a ton of stories and shit, and it's always ends up being like this interesting conversation with her. So she's definitely fun to talk to. That's why I'm excited.
Well, I don't trust too many people, and I trust Christine.
You and me both.
Kim's awesome too. That's how we met. Was that my podcasting channel was actually Kim introduced us, and we've been working together for like 3 years now. So yeah, so we'll give this a listen.
My webmaster angel
and tech support and all around giving any kind of advice when it comes to anything online.
Sometimes a frontal lobotomy.
Listen, we solved the problems. We got the problem solved for you. All right, we're going to give this a play.
Okay.
Hello, hello, did you know that love is at the heart of it? Hello, hello, did you know that love is at the heart of it? It's the way we walk, the way we talk, and love is at the heart of it. It's the friends we make, the actions we take, and love is at the heart of it. Love is at the heart of it. Love is at the heart of it. Hello, hello, did you know that love is at the heart of it? It's the place we go when we're feeling low. Love is at the heart of it. It's what we see when we're tired and weak. Love is at the heart of it. Love is at the heart of it. Love is at the heart of it. Hello, hello, did you know that love is at the heart of it? It's the fear we feel, illusions aren't real. Love is at the heart of it. It's the place we go where we can grow. Love is at the heart of it. Love is at the heart of it. Love is at the heart of it. Hello, hello, did you know that love is at the heart of it?
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. Muted, Christine.
Thank you. Well,
Christine,
the Warner Brothers,
Christine, you're
they're
muted.
so amazing.
Christine, you're muted. I don't think she hears us.
I can hear you, but I can't hear Christine.
She's muted. You gotta unmute your mic, Christine.
Always forget to fucking turn it off. I've got to turn it
I
off.
know. I was trying to give you an example.
But yeah, what I was saying is that when I close my eyes, the hook, that sounds like something Janis Joplin would sing. Like at this age, you know what I mean? Like it sounds like Neil Young, kind of like female version too, like you know what I mean? That era.
Wow.
You definitely know that you came from that era for sure.
That's good vibe
Thank you
music.
so
You're the man
much.
who to put that on. You're golden.
Thank you
But yeah,
so
definitely.
much.
This is the music that you put on to put yourself into a good mood, like she said.
That's right.
get yourself out of a funk. If you put on some of Janine's music, you really can't be an asshole.
Now,
That
I have
really
a quick comment on it too. It's ironic because I'm a Christian too, right? And Jesus said, "What's the greatest of the commandments? That is to love thy neighbor." You know what I mean? Love those as I've love one another as I've loved you. Now,
Yeah.
a thing that's huge. My definition of love, and my wife has it. And we stand on it. It's an acronym: lifetime, optimistic, vision of eternity. That's what you want if you love somebody, right? So
Well,
that
love is the answer. Actually, I've got a gospel song coming out called "I've Got God on My Side."
right.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
we're gonna lead in. We're gonna lead into the next song, which is Alice in Wonderland. Do you want to give us a little intro to that one?
Malice in Wonderland. Wow. Now that's a bit of a satire. Now that's a bit of a rant and a satire. I took the government and the church on at the same time. And it's all about dogma, okay?
Okay.
It's not about the fact that I don't believe in Jesus, but Jesus was a carpenter. And so the lyrics, all the lyrics came through. I was looking through my brother's old altar boy book. Like what you have to do to be an altar boy, because I was raised Roman Catholic. And so I got the words like, and Alice in Wonderland, it's a spin because it's Alice in Wonderland. So I used a lot of symbolism in it. I did a lot of the videography, and I had a real hand in the symbolism of it. There's a place where I have the Master Jesus in sepia carrying 4 suitcases coming out of the computer at Ryan. I'm a little twisted. So when you watch the video, it's kind of neat. But the song is almost as long as Stairway to Heaven. So you guys were talking about, 3-minute radio songs. This one is not one of those, but it's a
It's a
rocker.
classic.
Rabbit! Wait! No. I'm overdue. I'm really in a stew. No time to say goodbye. Hello, I'm late.
My, what a peculiar place to have a party. You know, Dinah, we really shouldn't be doing this. After all, we haven't been invited, and curiosity often leads to trouble. Goodbye, Dinah. Goodbye.
My name is Malice, number 664. I ain't the devil, but he lives next door. If you spell devil backwards, what do you get? It spells live, and I ain't done that yet. Oh yeah. Little old devil man hiding out from me, looking over the fence at the fruits on my tree. Oh yeah. They be ripe for the picking, but you see the clock is ticking and my time gets all used up. So if you want a drink, you better stop and think before you take a sip from my cup. Oh yeah. My name is Malice, number 664. I ain't the devil, but he lives next door. If you spell devil backwards, what do you get? It spells live, and I ain't done that yet. Oh yeah. Fear is an illusion, grandeur is a lie. Live life to the fullest, find heaven before you die. Oh yeah. There are so many healers put up on pedestals. With all those people looking up, they were sure to trip and fall. Oh yeah. My name is Malice, number 664. I ain't the devil, but he lives next door. If you spell devil backwards, what do you get? It spells live, and I ain't done that yet. Oh yeah. Stories have to be told before you go astray. They said that he'd come back for you come your judgment day. Oh yeah. Judgment needs another whose job is that to keep. The key lies in the darkness to show you why you weep. Oh yeah. My name is Malice number 664. I ain't the devil, but he lives next door. If you spell devil backwards, what do you get? It spells live, and I ain't done that yet. Oh yeah. Fear is a very destructive force, and the old books of wisdom had run their course. So the roles were reversed, it was quite the switch, but the church pulled it off without a hitch. Oh yeah. It was all about the money, the sex and the power. But what they forgot was the lotus flower. The lotus flower. The lady of the hour. Lotus flower. My name is Malice number 664. I ain't the devil, but he lives next door. If you spell devil backwards, what do you get? It spells live, and I ain't done that yet. Oh yeah. So I just been sitting back with the patience of Job, waiting to discover the combination code. Oh yeah. Well, I got kinda tired coming in last, so I named myself Malice. Now I'm having a blast. Ooh, oh yeah. Malice in wonder, malice in wonder, malice in wonderland.
Hey.
You guys could definitely do a collab. I really like your choruses. I have to say, your choruses are super catchy. Like,
Oh,
both
really?
songs, like, yeah, and like the guitar playing in that one was sick.
A lot of people never spelled devil backwards before.
I never thought of that until I seen that. I was like, or heard it, and I was like, wait a minute, she's right.
So really all evil is living life without love. If you think about it
So
that way.
accurate. So accurate.
It is true.
Right.
It really is. 100%. I actually never
Yeah.
thought of it that way, but yeah, like, evil is living without love. If you're not loving, you're evil.
Exactly.
That actually makes perfectly good sense.
Yeah, well,
This is
you
why
know,
I
you
love
live
Janine.
life with love when you get to the point where you don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks anymore.
We've been there. So I'm going to say that we're going to wrap this up, but I want to thank you very much, Jeanne, for coming on. This was a great conversation.
Hello, hello, did you know that love is at the heart of it? Hello,